All right, here we go. 3 months ago, these were just seeds. Today, they're food that I can eat. And honestly, this garden has taught me a lot more than I ever expected. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is where I document learning ranch life, land stewardship, and now also apparently gardening in South Texas. If you've been following along with me, thank you for coming back. And before we get into the garden update, there are a couple of things that have really surprised me this year. First, we're already at episode 15. When I started this channel, I honestly didn't know if I'd make it to episode 5. I didn't know if I'd have enough stories. I didn't know if anyone would watch. And I didn't know if I would still be enjoying this 6 months later. But here we are, nearly 6 months into this journey. And honestly, I still look forward to coming out here every morning that I can, driving out before the sun has even risen. I still enjoy learning, and I'm still enjoying filming and documenting, all of this content. But maybe the most surprising of all, I feel like I'm just getting started, probably because I am. But I think if I'm being honest, there's another feeling that's been hanging around too. And that's a little bit of feeling of regret. I wish I had opened up my schedule sooner. I wished I had made more room for the ranch before Dad passed away. I spent so many years just trying to balance my photography work with deadlines and clients and life and children and grandchildren. And I kept telling myself that there would always be more time later. But then one day there wasn't. And I don't want to dwell on that. I don't want to beat myself up over it. But I do think that's a huge part of why this place just continues to mean so much more to me. Because every day that I come out here feels like an opportunity to reconnect with something that was always here, something that Dad loved, and something that my family built, my ancestors. And maybe that's something I wasn't ready to fully appreciate until now. And although that has always been super important to me, I guess I don't really, or I hadn't really understood how much it really meant to me until now.
Turn the lights off.
Today, we are just going to be talking about the garden, a full update. What worked, what didn't, what surprised me, and what this little patch of dirt has taught me over the last few months. Today, I thought we would do something a little different. So that I could have no cattle, no pivots, no tractors, just an honest update on my first real garden. Again, what worked, what didn't, and what surprised me. I'm also going to tell you what I would absolutely do differently next time and what I'm already planning on for the fall. One thing I cannot ignore is the weather. Since April, we've had nearly 23 inches of rain, at least according to my very unofficial, maybe not precisely consistent rain records that I've kept at my house since April. And honestly, I don't know if I picked the perfect year to start gardening or if someone thought I might need a little extra encouragement. Because I know enough now to know that gardening in South Texas isn't always this forgiving. My first cucumber, not this one, but my first cucumber came 54 days after planting. And I don't mind telling you that that first cucumber felt like winning the lottery. Since then, I've probably harvested 50 or 60 cucumbers, if I'm guessing. I've shared them with John's employees up at the shop. I've shared them with our mail lady, who also happens to be my first cousin, Kirby. My best friend made 5 quarts of dill pickles. They're still curing, and honestly, they look beautiful. I cannot wait to try them. Today, I am going to finally taste my first Beefmaster tomato. I've taken a few of these home that were a little bit on the greener side, and honestly, they are just now getting to the point of ripeness that I can eat them. But I'm gonna taste this one today in front of y'all. So it's going to be my tomato unboxing moment, if you will. All right, they're definitely not as big as what the picture showed on the seed packet. And again, honestly, I haven't tasted one yet. So let's find out together. What does this tomato taste like? All right. I decided that this tomato was just too big and bright and pretty to taste. So in the event that it's really good, I'm going to try the smaller one instead. All right, let's cut into this. And all I have is my box cutter that I open bales of hay with. All right, let's see. I'm gonna slice. It's pretty. Yeah. Mmm. Yeah. Most definitely better than anything you will find in the grocery store. If you have a local farmer's market, buy your vegetables there. Vegetables taste so much better when they're not rushed, grown in artificial light, the use of heavy pesticides and fertilizers. Again, that just does something to make the vegetables taste less like they were meant to taste. Yeah, look at that. I'm happy. I'm happy with this tomato and how it turned out, and I hope the rest are just as good. Archie claims that he hates tomatoes, but he tried some cherry tomatoes from my Uncle Randy's garden a couple of weeks ago, and apparently Uncle Randy's tomatoes changed his mind. That just goes to reinforce the idea that farm-raised vegetables taste better. And that also gives me hope that one day, maybe he'll eat one of mine too. All right, the corn taught me my first really big lesson. Apparently, planting corn in one single row is not the best practice. And nobody told me that, but again, I didn't ask. Or if they did tell me that, maybe I wasn't listening or forgot, which is totally plausible. But to date, I have harvested about 20 ears, and honestly, they weren't very sweet. They weren't terrible, but definitely not what I had hoped for. And maybe now I know why. That corn needs better pollination. So it needs to be planted in blocks and not necessarily long single rows. For those of you who also garden, what's the one thing every beginner gardener should know? Because I promise you, I still have a lot to learn, so I can learn from your tips too. My fishing line deer fence, I think, actually worked. I did see tracks at one point through the garden, so I knew they were visiting, but I haven't had any real significant damage. So my theory is that the deer don't like running into things that they can't see and that this helps. And apparently they're just as confused by the fishing line as I am. The next garden though, I will be making the perimeter larger because right now I think if they found my garden, they could still reach just over and nibble on the edges of some of my plants here. And one of my biggest successes has been cardboard and straw. I still haven't added my third layer of compost yet. And honestly, I don't know how soon I'll get to that. But the straw on the top has kept my garden clean and neat and orderly. It isn't messy. It's suppressing the weeds. And it has worked far better than I ever expected. I am already laying cardboard on my future garden blocks. Lately, I have been trying to get out here as early as I can to walk the garden and look for tomato worms. Of the 17 tomato plants, only one of them has been hit really badly by tomato worms. Another few, 2 or 3, does have a few nibbles, but honestly, I feel like I've become a detective. Every morning, I'm out here hunting worms. The garden has given me a few surprises. I had some volunteer Milo pop up and a mammoth sunflower, which I thought had died. I even a week or so ago went over there and pulled all of the seeds out of the dead flower head and dropped them around the base of that plant and then instantly regretted it. Like, why didn't I save those seeds so that I could plant more of those? It was so beautiful. And the strange thing was that earlier this morning, I walked back out there. And let me show you what happened or what I found. Hang on. All right, when I went back out this morning to look at this and capture some video footage, there were more seeds. And I swear I popped all of those out, a week and a half ago. So it honestly felt a little magical finding all of these seeds in here again. I'm hoping to dry these out and plant them and that some of them come back. Because that sunflower was one of the prettiest things in the garden and has inspired me to plant even more flowers and especially more sunflowers. People ask what gardening costs. Honestly, what I have going on right now has cost me less than $100. The seeds, probably less than $10 for this garden right now. The cardboard was free. The straw was free. It was loose straw out of my brother's hay trailer that he sells to his customers. The T-posts, the cattle panels, and the fishing line, everything was already laying around somewhere that I had access to. The bamboo poles and the vegetable clips and the hand tools, those were probably my biggest expenses to date. Those things will all get reused. So not necessarily a one-time garden expense. It's more like a garden lifetime expense. People are also asking how much time I spend out here. And honestly, probably 20 minutes or so in the morning, a few times a week, looking for these tomato worms that I haven't found yet, checking the plants, and sometimes enjoying my morning coffee. Then maybe an hour or so once, sometimes twice a week, harvesting, pruning, training the cucumbers, you know, continuing to tie the tomatoes to the trellis. And honestly, it isn't nearly as much time as I thought. What has surprised me the most is how much I love it. I had no idea gardening would be this peaceful. It's quiet, it's calming, it's meditative, and for a little while, everything else just disappears. My regrets is that I didn't start sooner. I didn't do enough research. I planted my corn all wrong. I copied my dad's long rows instead of designing blocks right off the bat. And honestly, I think I started too small because now I want to grow everything. All right. As I was mowing, I was thinking about the episode that I recorded earlier this morning and thought I left out a very important update. And that is the part about me already planning for my fall garden. But side note, I am becoming obsessed with these gummies, but it's just their original fruit flavors, not the fancy ones. Just cherry, strawberry, mango, pineapple, lemon, orange, green apple, watermelon, pink grapefruit, lime, blue, raspberry, and grape. So good. All right. When I was mowing earlier, I realized I didn't remember to include any of the updates for my fall garden. So I am finished mowing now, and I am here to update you on my seed starting experiment. These are some seeds that I have started for my fall garden. And some of them have really surprised me, but some of them have also humbled me. The peas have done exceptionally well. Every single one of them has sprouted and come up. I'm sorry, not every single one. I planted 12 and 9 have sprouted. I also planted some squash. I planted 6 and I have a tiny sprout coming up out of one of them. My cantaloupe, all 6 sprouted. My red sunflower, 5 out of 6 has sprouted. And my Russian mammoth sunflowers, 4 out of 6 has sprouted so far. My broccoli, I don't see any seedlings coming up. The cabbage, I see 3 out of 6. My spinach, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, about 7 out of 20. And the only thing I see sprouting out of my dill, parsley, basil, alyssum, zinnias, or marigolds are the alyssums. I see one of the seed trays having some seedling sprouts in it, but that's it. ChatGPT tells me that I shouldn't be worried about the things that haven't sprouted yet, that some of them just take longer. What I am going to be doing today is transplanting my my sunflowers, both the red sunflower and the mammoth Russian sunflower, into 3-inch pots, biodegradable pots, and also my peas. The mammoth Russian sunflowers and the red sun sunflowers have had nearly perfect germination. And the cantaloupe, like I said, is also doing well. The peas have done exceptionally well. All but 3 have started to come up. And then you can see here, the little roots are starting to protrude outside of the little peat pellet. So I'm going to be transplanting these today into a bigger 3-inch pot. The mammoth Russian sunflowers and the red sun sunflowers have also had nearly perfect germination. My cantaloupe is really doing well too. My cabbage has started to emerge. I have about 3 cabbage seedlings showing so far, and I have about 6 or 7 spinach seedlings that have sprouted. The broccoli has not shown up yet, which has surprised me. I did expect the broccoli to be one of the easier crops to germinate, but so far, no luck. I also have a few alyssum seedlings beginning to emerge, but so far, the dill, parsley, basil, zinnias, and marigolds haven't made an appearance. This entire process has been a good reminder that gardening does require patience. Some seeds pop up quickly, and some seeds just take their sweet time. And some make you wonder if you did something wrong. But that's part of what makes this first garden so exciting for me. You know, each morning I walk outside, I get to check these trays and see what changed overnight. And honestly, every little green sprout feels like a victory. All right, so it's Friday afternoon. I still got some work to do, so I will see you later and enjoy the rest of the episode. 3 months ago, these were seeds, and today they're food. Some things worked, some things failed, some things have surprised me, and some things taught me lessons I probably won't ever forget. But my biggest regret is not having more ranch days, you know, in the recent 5-10 years of my life. My biggest regret isn't planting the corn wrong. It isn't losing my Roma tomato seedlings. It isn't not knowing enough. My biggest regret is simply not starting sooner. Because honestly, this little garden has brought me a lot more joy than I ever expected. And I think I'm just getting started. All right, guys, if y'all want to see more of my garden and how the rest of my vegetables turn out, be sure to like, comment, follow, heart, share, forward, copy, do a duet with me somewhere if you see me online. Help me grow this channel. Also, just you watching is also support. Do whatever you can. Help me grow this channel. I would appreciate. All right, guys, love y'all. Have a great week. Bye.